Hello, scientists, and welcome to our final day of our first week of new material. Congratulations. Take just a moment here. Give yourselves a pat on the back. You have done a great job sticking with us this week for all the new material. Dr. Judith and I are both very proud of all of your hard work. So remember, this week we looked at all kinds of information about how the environmental change after the asteroid could have impacted the dinosaurs. And if you look right here on our screen, it says, remember, our exploration question is, how did the dinosaurs change? Today, we're going to take what we've learned and we're going to condense it down into the most important pieces. We're going to write that information back in our OneNote notebook. And then for part 2, we're going to choose our favorite one piece of evidence and explain that evidence on our environmental evidence discussion post. I'm going to walk you through both of those things, so watch this entire video if you're confused about what to do. You will notice it says steps for part 1, and it gives you instructions about how to get back to your OneNote notebook. We are going to start by logging into Class Notebook. Click on Open OneNote Online. Click on your name and your content library, and then Dino Fate Evidence. So I'm going to go to Class Notebook. It is going to ask me to sign into OneNote. It might ask you to do this, it might not. So if it asks you to sign into OneNote, it should pop up this window. And then you're going to click Open in OneNote Online. Please click the one that says Open in OneNote Online. And it is going to pop up a new window for OneNote Online. Now, you should already have your very own section of this notebook. And just like you did last time, you're going to go and click on your name. It should be the only name. Under your name, you are going to find handouts. So you're going to click on handouts. And then under handouts, you're going to click Dino Fate Evidence. You should see this page that says evidence gathering. Remember, our big question is, what happened to the dinosaurs? How did they change? And this week, we are going to put one piece of evidence that we gathered from our readings in each of the boxes for environment evidence, because this week, we learned about evidence from the environment. Now, it might be helpful, you should totally do this, to go back and look at the information provided to you in the environment changes section and in the organisms before and after section. Now remember, for the environment changes, you should have at some point this week gone through and highlighted important information. You should have answered questions in these boxes, and you should have done the same thing for organisms before and after. Now it's going to be time to look back through your highlights, look at the answers you made to these questions, and use that information to pick three favorite pieces of evidence about how the environment could have changed the dinosaurs. So now that I've thought about, okay, we learned about the environment, we learned about organisms before and after, and I want to think about how have the dinosaurs changed. So, how have the dinosaurs changed? Piece of evidence from the environment. Well, if I look at environment changes, I see that before the asteroid, there was lots of warm temperatures and forests, and they produced lots of food for organisms living during that time. But now, if I remember correctly, after the asteroid hit, oh yeah, this asteroid sent huge amounts of material flying into Earth's atmosphere. That material was so thick, it blocked most of the sunlight from reaching Earth for a whole year. And after 30 20,000 years, organisms started to grow back. So I think I'm going to pull that. I'm going to come back over to my dino fate evidence. And in this evidence box for my first piece of evidence, I'm going to write the asteroid put so much, my typing is bad, sorry, so much stuff into the atmosphere, it blocked out the sun. Plants couldn't grow. Now, you can see that I have tiny boxes over here now, so I'm going to take a second. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. And I'm going to make this one a little bit smaller. There we go. Okay. So there's my first piece of environment evidence. The asteroid put so much stuff into the atmosphere, it blocked out the sun. Plants couldn't grow. Now, how does that make the dinosaurs change? Well, if plants couldn't grow, then plant-eating dinosaurs didn't have any food. And if plant-eating dinosaurs didn't have food, that means dinosaurs that ate other dinosaurs didn't have food. So when the asteroid blocked out the sun, it meant that the dinosaurs didn't have a lot of food, and maybe that caused them to change. Now, I want you to do the same thing for these other two pieces of environment evidence. You're going to go back to your readings. You're going to look at environment changes and organisms before and after, and you are going to pick two more pieces of evidence to put into these boxes. Now, scientists, that was a lot of information, but remember, that was only part one of what we are doing today. So now, remember, OneNote is going to save everything for me. I don't have to save. I'm going to close out of OneNote when I've finished with all three of my environment evidences, and I am going to go back to modules. I am going to go back to the do last environment evidence review where I was before, and I've done part one. I chose three pieces of evidence that help to explain how the dinosaurs have changed. Now, I want you to choose your favorite piece of evidence. So picking just one piece of evidence, and you're going to put it here in our environmental evidence discussion post. So I'm going to click on environmental evidence discussion post. Darn. Okay, that will link to something. And it is going to take me, hold on, to this thing, environmental evidence discussion. Thanks for being patient, scientists. We're still working this out too. And it says, you just finished writing three pieces of evidence about environment changes and how they affected the dinosaurs. Now, please choose your one favorite piece of evidence that helps us to explain how the dinosaurs changed. Please explain which evidence you chose and why. I have provided a sentence stem to help you out. So I'm going to click on reply, and now it has this big box for me to write in. And I'm going to write my favorite piece of evidence about the environment is, and I'm going to write that the asteroid blocked out the sun and no plants could grow. This evidence helps to explain how the dinosaurs changed because without plants, there was no food. And some of the dinosaurs may have died. Died. Now, when I am happy with my response, ooh, that's fun, I'm going to hit post reply, and that will put my reply on the discussion board. The last thing I have to do is find two other students and reply to their posts. You can say, I agree, Miss Morrow. I think that the asteroid did cause the dinosaurs to change because they wouldn't have had food. Or you could say, I disagree with Miss Morrow because Things lived after the asteroid. Obviously, we're here, so it couldn't have killed everything. You are going to be polite and respectful in your replies, and you will reply to 2 other students. Scientists, that was a lot of information. When you are all done, you have finished with this module for this week. Thank you so much for working through all of these technology challenges with us. As always, if you have questions, send myself or Dr. Judith an email or send us an inbox message in Canvas. We are here to help you. Can't wait to keep learning about dinosaurs.